This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Eloise Phillips, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Wednesday, July 15th. The government will introduce 5 major reforms to improve food safety, says the health minister. China's ethnic unity law raises fears of transnational repression. And the national security judge recommends a US-Taiwan task force for transnational repression. But first, today's top story. The government is planning 5 major reforms and will review product recall regulations in light of rising food safety concerns in Taiwan. The controversy stems from contaminated cooking oil produced by Central Union Oil Corporation. On Wednesday, July 15th, Health Minister Shih Chung-liang stated that the most likely cause of the contamination is related to the manufacturing process, although experts are still investigating the matter. Tests found carcinogen benzoapyrene exceeding limits in the corporation's soybean cooking oil. 5 affected branches have been identified, and all downstream products have been removed from the shelves. Authorities also ordered precautionary recalls of related products. New relisting guidelines announced on Tuesday triggered criticism from opposition lawmakers. Shi said recalls traditionally target confirmed problematic products, but broader precautionary removals were deemed necessary during the investigation. He stressed the relisting rules apply only to unaffected batches. Responding to criticism of policy inconsistency, Shi noted existing recall principles were revised after the 2014 oil scandal, but may need further updates. Shi said,
After the 2014 oil incident, new classification-based recall principles were established in 2016, covering 10 categories with different response levels. Given the increasing complexity of food safety incidents, we have already held expert meetings and will continue discussing whether further revisions are needed.
China's new ethnic unity law has drawn international criticism over Beijing's legal reach overseas.
China's new ethnic unity law has officially taken effect, drawing criticism from Western governments and human rights groups who warn it could expand Beijing's ability to target critics beyond its borders. The legislation, which came into force on July 1, is the first law since the 1990s to be reviewed by China's Communist Party Politburo, and the first in the history of the People's Republic of China to include a preamble. It enshrines Chinese leader Xi Jinping's vision of forging what Beijing calls a shared national identity. A Taiwan-based international relations scholar says the law also reflects Xi's effort to further consolidate political power. He notes legislation repeatedly emphasizes the Communist Party's leadership and the principle that the party commands the gun, suggesting Beijing is using lethal mechanisms to reinforce long-term one-party rule. A Taiwan defense analyst says the measure marks a significant shift from China's previous ethnic policy, which emphasized regional autonomy for minority groups. Instead, he says it provides a legal foundation for continued Sinicization and potentially broader cultural assimilation. One of the law's most controversial provisions extends China's legal reach overseas, allowing Beijing to pursue legal action against foreign individuals or organizations accused of undermining what it defines as ethnic unity. The analyst warns that foreign governments, human rights organizations, and private citizens could also become targets if their statements or activities are deemed to challenge Beijing's definition of national unity. Such law reflects China's broader trend of using legislation as a strategic tool to advance its domestic and international objectives. Joey Cho for RTI News.
Taipei District Court Judge Xu Kai-chie called on the United States and Taiwan to create a joint task force to address transnational repression. This comes as both countries decide how to address the possible ramifications of China's new ethnic unity and progress promotion law, and over a week after the first potential case of cross-border repression. Xu, a judge specializing in national security, espionage and infiltration, is currently traveling in the US to exchange ideas on how to address threats posed by the new law. On July 6th, the head of the Indo-Pacific strategy think tank, Akio Yaito, was assaulted after giving a speech by a man who tried to leave the country immediately after. Taiwan's government is taking the incident seriously, with the Mainland Affairs Council, or MAC, and Foreign Ministry viewing this as the first incident of, quote, transnational repression, end quote, after China passed a new ethnic unity law. Speaking to CNA in Washington, D.C., Xu called on Taiwan and the United States to create a joint task force to deal with cases of cross-border repression and share experiences and response strategies. He also suggested the Taiwanese government create a reporting platform to allow citizens to report incidents in real time. While he acknowledged it would need a verification mechanism, a real-time reporting platform would allow for swifter government response and act as a stronger deterrent for bad actors. Xu also said that interdepartmental collaboration between the police and border control agencies will be critical to preserve evidence and identify cases. The judge said he believes Taiwan's legal tools need to evolve to address new types of crime. In the case of China's ethnic unity law, he said that Taiwan's anti-infiltration law by itself isn't enough, but should be combined with the criminal code to impose heavier punishment. The MAC announced on July 9th that the government has been drafting amendments related to transnational repression and will work with the Justice Ministry regarding the possibility of increasing criminal liability and the cost of crime. Foreign Minister Lin Jialong said Taiwan and France share democratic values and are expanding cooperation to strengthen democratic supply chain resilience as he attended a Bastille Day reception on Tuesday, July 14th. In a social media post, Lin said the ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity from the French Revolution remain values both sides cherish 200 years later. He noted that France has, in recent years, publicly emphasized the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, demonstrating support for democratic partners. Lin said France has been a key partner as Taiwan advances its engagement with Europe. Cooperation continues to grow in semiconductors, AI, solid-state batteries and space technology, while exchanges in culture, arts and youth programs have also deepened. Eric Huang, Director General of the Foreign Ministry's Department of European Affairs, said,
The Foreign Ministry looks forward to continuing to work hand in hand with France to promote interaction and cooperation among like-minded countries.
Lin also announced that the Alliance Française will relocate to a historic US dormitory complex on Chang'an East Road in Taipei, creating a new hub for French language, culture, arts and cuisine. He thanked the outgoing French representative, Frank Paris, for his efforts over the past 3 years. Quoting Paris in a post, Lin wrote, "I will not forget Taiwan, nor will I forget the Taiwanese people." Paris added that Taiwan's diversity and warmth made him fall deeply in love with the land. A tree, known as the Taiwanese lonely tree, and famous for its reflection in Sun Moon Lake, breaks during Typhoon Bavi, leaving visitors disappointed and unhappy.
A well-known scenic landmark at Taiwan's Sun Moon Lake has been severely damaged after strong winds from Typhoon Bavi snapped its branches. The so-called Taiwanese lonely tree, a willow standing in the water along the lakeside cycling path, was famous for its reflection surrounded by mountains and sky. Visitors recently discovered the tree broken, its branches collapsed onto the lake's surface, leaving behind rare, withered limbs. The tree had long been a highlight for cyclists and photographers traveling the popular route. "It doesn't look like the photos online," one visitor said. "When we got here, it was clear the typhoon had knocked it down." Another visitor noted the stark contrast, adding, "If there's somewhere you want to visit, go early or a typhoon could wipe it out." The tree, known locally as a waterslide willow, gained its nickname for its resemblance to New Zealand's famous lone Wanaka willow tree. Its appearance shifted with the water level, sometimes even standing on a sandbar during droughts. Authorities and visitors now hope it can recover and regrow, restoring the lake's signature view. Phyllis Koski for RTI News.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Eloise Phillips. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.